Hi, folks. Steve Pressman from Alpine Cyber Solutions. Today, I'm going to give you a little primer on how to be the best Chief Information Security Officer, or CISO, that you can be in 3 steps. I could lie to you and say it's 3 easy steps, but nothing's easy that's worthwhile. So, we're going to go a little bit into the depths of how to make it happen that you have your CISO chops. So the first thing you need to do is look at your security program. Your security program is essentially what are the things that you do in your organization to address the risks that are in your way or that are in your space. And it becomes a means by which you communicate those risks and how you mitigate them to your senior leadership, to your peers, to your stakeholders, to your customers, to your vendors, to anyone who has a vested interest in your security. So you want to build that security program. If it already exists, you want to update it, you want to maintain it, and you want to make sure that it's a relevant and upfront document. So what do you do to create it if it needs to be created or to update it? Well, the first thing you need to do is figure out what your security controls are. Your security controls, when I speak of that, that's what are the things that you need to do to be secure. Do you need to have a certain number of characters in your password in your environment? Do you need to have a firewall with a certain amount of review about the rules that are in that firewall? Do you need to have a vulnerability management program? Just a few examples. The easiest way to figure out what it is you need to do to make sure you're covering all your bases there is to map your controls or to get your controls from a recognized standard. NIST, or the National Institutes of Standards and Technologies, are the de facto standard in the United States for where you can get those controls from. You can also get them from CIS or from ISO. There are lots of places out there. Just pick one and go with it. And I recommend that you map those controls that you decide to one of those standards, and you keep track of that mapping. So you know that, yes, I'm compliant to NIST 800-171 because that will come up in an insurance questionnaire or an audit or in a customer due diligence requirement that you may have. Once you've gotten your security controls, document them as policies and then figure out where you're missing things. Figure out where your environment doesn't measure up. Document those gaps, work them off, and measure your success. We can speak a lot more about this. I'm actually going to be in person at the Cybersecurity Summit in Philadelphia on Tuesday, July 19th. We'll be in the expo hall. You can follow the smell of popcorn. We'll have a cybersecurity carnival, and we can talk about your security program and how we can make it better and what you can do to do it without help or what you can do with a little bit more help. So what else can you do to be a better CISO? Step two is to, it's kind of a multi-part step, so I'm cheating a little. And that is to implement that security program that we talked about. Secure your environment, assess yourself, and verify that you are as secure as you think or that your security controls are sufficient. Because if they're not, you've got work to do. You need to take an active role in your environment's cybersecurity. It has been proven that if you sit atop the mountain and cast edicts down upon the people without engagement in the IT and development team's projects or operations, really, you're never going to succeed. You're going to be seen as somebody who's always saying no, somebody who's increasing the length of time for their project implementations. And that's not a way to successfully secure an environment. It's a way to build enemies. The second piece there is assessment. You need to assess your vulnerabilities regularly. And I know that there are a lot of vendors out there who are going to sit back and say, I'll scan your network and tell you all your vulnerabilities. Vulnerability scanning is not the only way to assess your vulnerabilities. You need to look at all aspects of your environment. Do you have Active Directory? Well, run a tool to scan it and see what it's got and work off those things. Make sure you don't have old accounts sitting around or unnecessary administrative rights. Make sure your administrators have a secondary account that they use to do their administration rather than using their primary account. Does your environment do development? Well, then you should go assess the hosting, pen test it, assess your code, do dynamic and static code analysis, assess your deployment. I'm a DevOps guy, so I love speaking in the DevOps world about, how to secure that pipeline, and then assess those tools in the pipeline to make sure you're not leaving secrets in your Git repositories and things like that. Do you have sensitive data in your file shares? You might not think you do, but you might. Scan for it. Do a full text scan of all your files. Make sure that there's nothing there that you don't expect. Regular expressions can be your friend. Do you use the cloud? Well, you need to do more than just assess it. You need to become fluent in that technology. It's not a given anymore that your IT security people know what your IT organization is doing, because there are new technologies coming all the time. Your security team needs to comprehend the technology in order to be able to protect it. It's not just, hey, I understand data centers, so I understand the cloud. It's just not. Okay. So what I'm going to humbly suggest is, again, Cybersecurity Summit on July 17th in Philadelphia. There's even a virtual session. I'll be participating in a panel discussion about securing the cloud. It'll be interesting to hear multiple people talk about it, because the fact of the matter is, it's a problem across all industries. What else do you have in your environment that you need to scan? Think about your environment holistically. Talk to everybody in your world who has IT or other responsibilities, and make sure that you're assessing the security of all of those pieces. So again, come see us at the Cybersecurity Summit, July 17th, and we'll talk about it over some popcorn. Finally, the third step to being a better CISO is to solve the solvable. Use the tools at your disposal. If you don't have the tools internally, then you really need to be reaching out to the vendor marketplace. If you don't have time to do the bare minimum security, there are companies like Alpine Cyber Solutions that can do this on a managed security service basis. We can do your monthly patching for you. We can be your managed EDR, your endpoint detection and response. Don't forget, you need to do user security awareness. You need to do backups, and you need to test to make sure the backups work, because a backup that's untested is not a backup at all. It's a risk. You need to do vulnerability scanning every month. Make sure you don't have any new vulnerabilities that you didn't catch in your last patching round. You need to do password management. Don't let your users write down their passwords or reuse passwords. By the way, they should be storing their MFA tokens in there too, so they're under your control, and you can help them with it if they lose something. You need modern anti-malware. This is not your grandfather's McAfee anymore. You need something modern that's going to look at more than just file patterns. You need to be looking at network traffic. You need to be looking at allow listing and deny listing of executables, web content filtering, email filtering, managed firewall. By the way, all things that Alpine Cyber's MSS, Managed Security Service, can do for you, you need to be doing. And if you don't do all of those things, reach out to us, alpinecyber.com, and we can help you get there. If you don't like sending it over, visiting our website, come to us at the Cybersecurity Summit on July 17th in Philadelphia. Come get some popcorn. We can talk about what we do. We can talk about what you need, what keeps you up at night. It's better to let us do it than you trying to do it yourself. We will be repeatable and consistent and stable and measurable. Measurable. You can make sure that you're doing it. It's easy to say, that's easy stuff. We can do that. That's fine. You can do it. But are you doing it? Measure us. Make sure we're doing the right job. And finally, we're super affordable. We can do this for you for less than you can pay an analyst to do it in your own environment. So if you have IT in hand, but you have gaps in your security stance, you need Alpine Cyber Solutions. Come talk to us. We are going to be at the Cybersecurity Summit, having our own cybersecurity carnival in Philadelphia on July 19th, and we will be serving popcorn and dishing information on how you can be a better Chief Information Security Officer. Thanks. Have a great day.